Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja, coming up in the next 30 minutes. SpaceX Dragon with Axiom 4 mission crew undocked successfully from the International Space Station to touch down off the California coast on Tuesday afternoon. Amid Donald Trump's plan to send patriots to Ukraine, Kremlin says ammunition deliveries to Ukraine from the US have continued and are continuing. US's Ukraine envoy Keith Kellogg visits Kiev for talks on security and sanctions against Russia. 30% tariffs practically eliminate trade with the US, says EU Commissioner Maros Sefcovic, as EU trade ministers discuss relations with the US and Trump's tariff threat in Brussels. Now, the Axiom 4 crew, which was launched on June 25, 2025 from NASA's Kennedy Space Center, concluded their mission aboard the International Space Station after completing over 250 orbits of Earth and traveling more than 6 million miles over a period of 18 days. Axiom 4 mission pilot Shubhanshu Shukla and 3 other astronauts entered the Dragon Grace spacecraft as they prepared for their journey back home. The hatch of the Dragon Grace spacecraft that connected it to the International Space Station was closed at 2:37 p.m. Indian Standard Time. The undocking was completed at 16:45 hours Indian Standard Time. The splashdown is expected to take place off the coast of California at 3:01 p.m. Indian Standard Time on Tuesday. Earlier, the crew participated in a special farewell ceremony marking a historic moment as Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla, India's first astronaut on the International Space Station, bid farewell to space.
These missions have much far-reaching implications beyond science, and that is what I believe that this mission would also do in all of our respective countries as well. Going back from here, I carry with me a lot of memories and the learnings out of this mission that I would try and spread back. But the one thing that really sticks to me is what humanity is capable of when all of us come together from different parts of the world and work for a common goal or a common objective. It is truly incredible.
Shukla, along with fellow crew members, Commander Peggy Whitson of the USA, mission specialist S. Uznaski Wisniewski of Poland and Tibor Karpu of Hungary joined NASA's Expedition 73 crew for the ceremony. Shukla said that 41 years ago, an Indian went to the space and told us what our country looked like from up there, and people today wanted to know what India looks like today.
आज का भारत स्पेस से महत्वाकांक्षी दिखता है. आज का भारत निडर दिखता है. आज का भारत कॉन्फिडेंट दिखता है. आज का भारत गर्व से पूर्ण दिखता है. और इन्हीं सब कारणों की वजह से मैं एक बार फिर से कह सकता हूँ कि आज का भारत अभी भी सारे जहां से अच्छा दिखता है.
The family of Indian astronaut Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla expressed immense joy and pride ahead of his return to Earth on July 15th after an 18-day mission aboard the International Space Station as part of the Axiom 4 mission. The family in Uttar Pradesh's Lucknow is planning a grand welcome reflecting national pride in Shukla's historic achievement as the first Indian to visit the International Space Station and the second Indian astronaut after Wing Commander Rakesh Sharma orbited in space in 1984.
हम लोग बहुत उत्साहित हैं और बिल्कुल तैयार हैं उसके लिए. जो है आज उसकी अनडॉकिंग होगी. ये हमारे लिए बड़े सौभाग्य की बात है कि मतलब उसका जो है मिशन पूरा हुआ और हम लोग बहुत खुश हैं. सब लोग जो है उसकी प्रतीक्षा कर रहे हैं वापस आने की. बस इसी की तैयारी में हम लोग लगे.
बहुत अच्छा लगा जो मैसेज दे रहे थे कि हाँ सारे जहाँ से अच्छा भारत आज भी दिखता है. ये उन्होंने मैसेज दिया वहाँ से, तो सुनकर बहुत अच्छा लगा कि देश के प्रति इतना जज्बा भरा हुआ है उस बच्चे के अंदर, बहुत ज़्यादा अच्छा लग रहा है सोच सोच के कि 17-18 दिन के बाद बच्चा वापस आ रहा है, धरती पर आए उतरेगा, तो अच्छा लग रहा है, बहुत खुशी हो रही है, बहुत ज़्यादा।
Super excited. Actually, it's a mixed bag of emotion right now. बहुत happy. It's like nervousness is also there. We are not having that full of excitement feeling kind of thing because we are slightly nervous. This stage is a little crucial about that landing off and all, undocking from that space station and then landing down, splash down basically because they are landing in the water. So this is like we are highly excited, happy that he is coming back. We are going to meet him soon. But yes, nervousness is also there because it's a crucial moment.
In News Just in a social media post, India's Minister of State, Independent Charge, Science and Technology said, welcome back, Shubhanshu. The entire nation eagerly awaits your arrival back home as you begin your return journey after successful undocking of Axiom 4. Well, hashtag Axiom 4 is trending on X, formerly known as Twitter. Well, Axiom 4's historic mission coming to a close after 18 days of intense scientific experiments in space, and Group Captain Shubhanshu, part of the 4 crew members of the Axiom crew mission on board the Dragon spacecraft, and now have undocked successfully from the International Space Station, and in a matter of 22.5 hours from now are headed back to Earth. The splashdown will be in California on Tuesday afternoon Indian Standard Time, 3:01 p.m. to be precise. Still with Asia, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar met his Chinese counterpart Wang Yi on the sidelines of the SCO meet in China on Monday. Jaishankar said that India and China have made significant progress over the past 9 months in normalizing bilateral ties thanks to the resolution of border frictions and efforts to maintain peace and tranquility. He stressed that this is the foundation for building mutual strategic trust and advancing relations further. Jaishankar also thanked China for resuming the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra after 5 years. Earlier, Dr. S. Jaishankar met Chinese Vice President Han Cheng and conveyed India's support for China's SCO presidency and noted the improvement in bilateral ties. Dr. Jaishankar asserted that the bilateral relationship between India and China has been steadily improving since the meeting between Prime Minister Modi and President Xi Jinping in Kazan last October. He also expressed confidence that the discussions during this visit will maintain that positive trajectory. The countries marked the 75th anniversary of the establishment of our diplomatic relations. The resumption of the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra is also widely appreciated in India. Continued normalization of ties can produce mutually beneficial outcomes, said Dr. S. Jaishankar, adding that the international situation as the two leaders met today is very complex as neighboring nations and major economies of the world. An open exchange of views and perspectives between India and China is very important. Meanwhile, Dr. S. Jaishankar will participate in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization SCO Council Foreign Ministers meeting to be held in Tianjin on Tuesday, that's July 15th. The ministers will exchange views on SCO cooperation in various fields and major international and regional issues. The SCO comprises of 10 member states: China, Russia, India, Iran, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Pakistan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan and Belarus. Moving on, US President Donald Trump has announced plans to send Patriot air missiles, Patriot air defense systems to Ukraine to bolster its defenses against Russian attacks. Trump did not specify how many weapon systems that the United States would provide to Ukraine, but stressed that the US would be reimbursed for their cost by the European Union. The moves come just 2 weeks after Washington said that it would pause some arms deliveries to Kiev. Trump also said that he has plans to meet NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte to discuss Ukraine and other issues this week.
Well, I'm going to have a meeting with the Secretary General. It's coming in tomorrow. But we basically are going to send them various pieces of very sophisticated military, and they're going to pay us 100% for them. And that's the way we want it. And we've been trying to get that again. Biden, I don't think Biden ever asked for it. Putin really surprised a lot of people. He talks nice and then he bombs everybody in the evening. But there's a little bit of a problem there. I don't like it.
The announcement follows Ukrainian President Zelensky's request for more defensive capabilities to counter Russian missile and drone attacks. Meanwhile, US's Special Envoy for Ukraine, Keith Kellogg, is in Kiev to discuss security and sanctions against Russia. He will hold discussions with the Ukrainian leadership on issues of mutual interest. Defense, strengthening security, weapons, sanctions, protecting people, strengthening cooperation between Ukraine and the United States are on the agenda. On to Brussels now. The EU trade ministers are meeting today to discuss relations with the US and the tariff threat. But the Kremlin on Monday has said that the US arms deliveries to Ukraine were ongoing, reacting to President Trump's remarks on sending Patriot missiles. Trump is also expected to announce plans for offensive weapons, marking a sharp policy shift. Meanwhile, Moscow also noted that Kiev was in no rush for the third round of peace talks, though Russia remains ready and awaits Ukraine's response. So the 27 EU trade ministers are meeting in Brussels as US President Donald Trump is considering raising tariffs on European products. The ministers are studying possible retaliatory measures against Washington. The US leader threw months of painstaking talks into disarray on Saturday by announcing that he would hammer the bloc with the sweeping tariffs if no agreement is reached by August the 1st. Earlier, EU Trade Commissioner Maros Sefcovic said that the European Union and the United States are approaching a good outcome for both sides in their trade talks. He added that the 30% tariff US President Trump has threatened to impose on the EU would practically eliminate trade.
Percent or anything about 30%. So eventually any additional counteraction from the United States, it has more or less the same effect. So it's practically it prohibits the trade. So if you're talking about 30% or 30% plus, there will be a huge impact on trade. It will be almost impossible to continue the trading as we are used in a transatlantic relationship. And if you look at the impact this would have, so I have to say the transatlantic supply chains would be heavily affected on both sides of Atlantic.
You're watching DD India Live, still to come on the show. Visakhapatnam Port Authority hosts the second BIMSTEC Ports Conclave at Novotel on Monday. And French President Emmanuel Macron hosts Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto as the guest of honor at the Bastille Day military parade on Paris's Champs-Élysées.
When I came here, I was very much, astonished by the food which is available here, the culinary food which is available from every part of India. It is impossible to get everything here done, and there are many, setup like the tawas and the oven, pizza ovens, everything. This is impossible to bring it here. I thank the Shrine Board and this Bhandara for getting all the things here.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Tanvi Taneja. India's Minister for Ports, Shipping and Waterways, Sarbanand Sonowal, today inaugurated the two-day BIMSTEC Ports Conclave in Visakhapatnam. The event brings together representatives from 7 Bay of Bengal nations to strengthen regional maritime cooperation. Themed Blue Economy, Innovation and Sustainable Partnerships, the conclave underscores India's leadership under its Neighbourhood First policy. At the inaugural session, Indian Minister of State for Shipping, Ports and Waterways, Shantanu Thakur, spoke about the increasing cooperation of BIMSTEC nations in the maritime sector.
To support the global of this agreement, India establishing the BIMSTEC Center of Excellence of Sustainable Maritime Transport in Mumbai. This center will foster regional collaboration on decarbonizing maritime safety, and digital innovation while promoting capacity building policy, harmonization, and these research in the green shipping technologies.
The Niti Aayog on Monday released a comprehensive report titled India's Trade Watch in New Delhi for the first quarter of this financial year, mapping the country's global trade trajectory over the last 2 quarters. The report highlights a significant surge in India's exports over the past year and explores shifting global dynamics, including rising tariffs imposed by the United States. Interestingly, it suggests that these developments could present new opportunities for India. Niti Aayog member Arvind Virmani, speaking at the launch, urged a relative perspective on US tariffs.
Talking about this age of uncertainty, tariffs are put, they are suspended, etc. Now, one effect of that is on the aggregate economy, whether it's the US economy or world economy, and the overall demand for exports from every country. This report and the previous one, which was done by Niti, was that it's very important to focus on the relative tariffs. The report which we've just been presented brings that out very nicely. So that's something to remember when we see hopefully developments over the next several months.
Taiwan's military police conducted a logistics drill in Taipei's subway system during the early hours of Monday as part of the annual Han Kuang exercise, simulating troop and supply redeployment. The Air Force's first tactical fighter wing executed a nighttime runway repair drill on Sunday, mimicking recovery from an enemy attack. Senior officials emphasized the unscripted drills, replicating full combat scenarios, starting with simulated attacks on communication systems, escalating to a full invasion. The exercises aim to demonstrate Taiwan's resolve to counter Chinese aggression amid Beijing's intensified military pressure and sovereignty claims, which Taiwan firmly rejects. French President Emmanuel Macron on Monday hosted Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto as the guest of honor at the Bastille Day military parade on Paris's Champs-Élysées. Marking the 75th anniversary of France-Indonesia relations, the event featured 500 Indonesian troops, including 200 drummers, leading the parade, a historic first. Macron and Prabowo observed fighter jet flyovers and ceremonial marches, symbolizing strengthened defense ties. Discussions included potential deals for Rafale jets and Scorpene submarines. The parade, attended by 7,000 troops, concluded with a drone light show and fireworks, celebrating France's 1789 revolution. So as France celebrates the Bastille Day on July 14th, the date is not just about parades and national holiday, it is a celebration of freedom, the power of the people and its democracy. Let's now see why July 14th is called the heart of the French Republic. DD India's Rohini Gosavi reports.
July 14, 1789, the day of the rise of democracy in France. The people of the France stood up against monarchy that had ruled for more than 1,000 years. This was the time when ordinary people were suffering from high taxes, hunger and unfair treatment, while King Louis XVI and nobles were living in great luxury. This gap between the rich and the poor led to growing anger among French people. The storming of the Bastille became a key moment in history.
I'm here at Place de la Bastille, a powerful symbol of France's fight for freedom. It was right here people rose up against royal power. They brought down the powerhouse of the king and sparked the revolution that reshaped the nation.
On July 14, 1789, people in Paris marched to the Bastille, a prison that showed a king's total control. They broke the wall, freed few prisoners and took the weapons. This action showed that they were ready to fight back. The storming of the Bastille began the French Revolution, which ended the monarchy and brought ideas of liberty, equality, and fraternity. These values still define the spirit of French Republic.
More than 200 years ago, French people said enough to injustice. They refused to live in poverty and follow unfair rules. They wanted equal rights and fair chance to live with dignity. This brave stand of ordinary people started a revolution.
The French Revolution changed the country forever. The monarchy was overthrown and France became a republic where the people had a voice. The rise of democracy brought new hope with promises of freedom, equality, and justice for all.
This revolution was not just about breaking down the walls. It was about building a new system where every citizen mattered. These values laid the foundation for fair and free societies around the world.
In 1880, July 14 was declared a national holiday to remember the Bastille and all that it stood for. The day celebrates not just the fall of the Bastille, but also the ideals of democracy and freedom that the revolution brought. Every year, people in France and around the world honor this day as a symbol of courage and hope for the better future. This is Rohini Gusavi in Paris for DD India.
So that's all for this edition of DD India Live. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. Connect with us on our different social media handles at DD India Live. And for those on the go, you can also download our DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja from all of us here in New Delhi. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.